Discovery.
Hello and welcome to Country Report in the Post-Truth Apocalypse. I'm Ben. Last week I'm hanging out with Gaz.
Hello.
And I.
Hello.
It's our Christmas episode, boys.
Merry
Yay.
Christmas.
Happy Yule.
Peace and goodwill to all men.
The right kind.
Except men we don't like.
But yes, and as it is our Christmas episode, we're taking a trip down the dark, as we usually do. No happy, fluffy Christmas episodes for us.
Why would we talk about something happy?
Well, to raise our flagging morale, I don't know.
That would be insane.
No, I'd rather surround myself with this.
Misery and death and
Yep.
evil.
Misery, death, cannibalism.
Tis our way.
It's got it all, and we're going to talk about the Donner Party.
To be fair, my favourite thing about Christmas is probably the food. So-
I'm only in it for the dinner. Well, I get two. I've had two already between attending various functions.
Were you dressed as Santa?
No.
Oh. I was trying to zoom in going, that's not Ben.
That guy who's playing Santa is Asian Gaz for a start, so it's definitely not me.
Well, he's very light, but very high cast. I'm not going to cut that bit out.
I don't think they do that anymore.
Oh, they do.
Do they?
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
It's a thing, sadly.
Oh,
Oh,
yes.
right,
The
okay.
lighter skin, the better.
Yeah,
You learn something new every
Too. But it's working out all right for
Yeah.
them, to be fair.
Let's not cast versions.
Hey! At least they don't eat each other.
This is true. Yeah, the Donner Party, the great days of the American pioneer, crossing over to the west, trying to settle California. Quite a romantic time in many ways.
Well, it was if you were
Sorry.
white.
I was gonna say, oh, there's no potatoes left. But apparently if we go on this boat, we can go and get all the potatoes we've ever wanted.
Good job you weren't on the potato famine, that's all I can say. So
That's
you did.
basically what happened. All the potatoes you could ever want. And your own land, it's a paradise. And they get there and they start getting eaten by savages and fucking heads ripped off and fucking animals eating their arseholes and fucking... Oh! Potatoes! I've just summed it up.
What, the American immigration?
That's the American immigration. That's what happened.
What about the Italians?
Hey, they say they lot of a potato. Oh, what is a potato? I don't know. But they have a lot of them.
They didn't just grow potatoes. It was cattle farming, wasn't it, more than anything?
Well, I think it was the promise of land and
Promise of land.
gold and untold
Well,
riches.
This is where the origins of the American dream.
Yeah, stealing land from the natives and
Well,
taking it and claiming it for themselves.
You know what?
Those natives weren't as
Get
nice
some
as people
firearms.
make out.
Get some firearms.
Defend your land. No, they weren't as nice as they made out. They used to have some very horrible tortures reserved for people.
And weren't they already like?
The Indians.
I
Horrible
don't
tortures.
deny they used to have slaves themselves.
And weren't they already
Just
killing the
like
fuck out of
slaves.
each other before they got there?
Some were.
Everyone
some were
kills the fuck out of each other.
It's what we do.
That's it. That's what it is.
It was really the flu that killed them, wasn't it?
Smallpox.
Smallpox.
Well, they shouldn't have accepted the blanket.
It's very true. That is like one of the biggest genocides in history, isn't it? Like, here you
Shocking,
are.
isn't it?
Here's a deliberately infected blanket with smallpox, which I know you have no immunity to.
Thanks for Manhattan.
Yeah. Man, it is a genocide. I don't care what anyone says. I mean, it is. The whole of they always going to admit, the house is haunted. There's an ancient Indian burial ground underneath it. The whole country is one fucking Indian burial ground.
Which is amazing as to how they've become so completely, unstoppably jingoistic in like 200 years.
Oh, yeah.
Like the most jingoistic nation on earth.
And I love
And
it.
your history is like fucking blip.
Yep.
And I love them for it.
Well, let's thank some returning listeners, many of whom are in America.
Yes.
Ann Arbor and Washington in the US, Telford, our hometown in the UK, Ashburn in the US, Istanbul, don't usually get many there. Whitstable in the UK, Gurangram in India, Karasika.
Yeah, I'll do.
That's fine. Brazil, Helsinki in Finland, Dubai is UAE, isn't it?
Yep.
Rotterdam in Amsterdam, Mansfield in the UK, Frankfurt am Main in Germany, Council Bluffs, Boardman and Des Moines in the US, Falkenstein, Germany, Dublin, Ireland, Chicago and Bartlett in the US, and Iguape in Brazil.
Welcome.
Thank you for listening. Tell a friend, tell several friends, if you can understand what the hell we're saying. So, the Donner Party. So let's just raise a glass. Merry Christmas, gentlemen.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Cheers.
Salutations.
Salutations.
Another one in the bag.
So, on April 15th, 1846, the 87 pioneers of the Donner Party left Springfield, Illinois for California. But their journey ended in tragedy when they became snowbound in the Sierra Nevada mountains.
Now, how far is this trail? It's fucking...
Oh, it's like
massive,
thousands of miles, yeah.
Takes best part of a year, doesn't it?
You had to set off before the 1st of April and you get there before the snows came. So you'd be looking at about April to September-ish.
Okay, 5 months.
Yeah, but it's thousands of miles. You can go on. It's obviously less if you go to a stop in Oregon. Head on to California. But California was technically owned by Mexico at this point, so immigration into there was slightly iffy because the Mexicans didn't want a bunch of white people turning up and settling their land.
Well, who would?
Well, it didn't go so well for the Mexican occupation because, California now belongs to America.
America.
So just like many other American settlers heading westward in the mid-19th century, big thing, California's the promised land.
Potatoes.
It's a hard life on the East Coast.
What did they used to call it? Manifest destiny.
From sea to shining sea. That's what it
Their
is.
destiny to conquer that continent.
Sea to shining sea.
Settle the continent. No one's conquering at this point.
Oh, beautiful.
All right,
You just told me you kicked out the Mexicans and we took over the natives. I think they are conquering. They conquered it before and then they said, come and settle it.
They're not conquering it. No one's declaring... The American government isn't declaring war on Mexico. This is the settlers banding together, forming a militia and driving the Mexicans out.
Because they really wanted California.
But they definitely declared war on the Indians.
I don't know why they were so desperate to get California, though, because, no one should live there, should they? They shouldn't be cities. They have to,
It's a massive fault line that can go at any point.
And if I'm incorrect, do they have to, ship the water in? There isn't enough natural water resources for people.
Well, she doesn't, but then think of all the gold they found later on. They hadn't found the gold at this point in 1846.
Gold in them there hills.
Came in the 1870s, after the Civil War. So they found the gold in the hills. I think they pulled something like, in today's money, $7 billion worth of gold out. Or was it in that money? It was in the old money, so it was worth even more.
And a lot of people, many people, the vast majority of gold seekers, it just ended in ruin and misery.
Well, yeah.
It wasn't that abundant, was it? It's not like everyone who went looking for it got a bit.
No, that's true. But you could literally...
Well, you died trying.
It was that abundant, you could just pick away at the side of a mountain and find gold. It was not... there was a lot of gold. But we're slightly ahead of ourselves. It's 1846 and everybody's trying to get out there and just get the land. They want the land. And these are farmers mainly, cattle farmers especially.
From Europe?
A lot of these would be sort of settled Americans at this point. Their families would have come over just before independence, before they did this War of Independence. So yeah, these are guys who are still calling their kids Washington, Franklin.
Okay, so they're not... So
Jefferson.
That far west still hasn't been...
No.
So what sparked this? Did one person go out there and go fuck this gold? And then everyone started racing there? Or...
Obviously they always wanted to expand the territory, but...
They cleared the Indians out. The army did.
We've still got Indian wars going on at this point.
You have, yeah. And then obviously the new land, it's like,
You need people to come out and
so
sell
we
this land.
give you incentive and say, look, you can have it for free. Have this plot for free. Because
they did,
you've got to travel there.
Divvied it up into plots, didn't they? Like, whoever gets there first, that's your plot. Get there, that's your land forever.
Yeah. You ever seen that Tom Cruise
film?
Far and Away? Yeah, it's a good film, actually.
I fucking love that film. His accent shit, but it's a fucking good film, though. Because they're literally racing, aren't they? Like,
first come, first served, didn't it?
Well, wagon trains didn't race. You know, the old white hooped wagons you've seen in the Western. This is what we're talking about. 87 people in the Donner Party who split off from a larger group of 300. You know, this is that time of year, 1st of April, that's when everybody fucking goes. And it's not like you'd think they're all like in close formation. They're not. They're spread out over miles. Everyone kind of catches up at night. And you circle the wagons, put the oxen inside. But these wagons, they were not like basic. I mean, some of the wealthier people had like 2-story ones with a bed.
Nice.
You know, a stove with a pipe running all the way up out of it. You know, some of them were considered, you know, what you call a luxury wagon, if such a thing exists.
Still no suspension.
No,
it would have been horrific. God, my spine.
The only guys who were in the wagon in the day was the chaps sat. No. Women and children and the men would mostly walk unless you're a horse. The only guy on it is your teamster towing it.
And it's just full of your shit.
Because remember, you've got like 20 odd oxen pulling these things, or maybe less than a team of oxen pulling it. So you've got to make it as light as you can. It's got all your shit in it. It's got your life in it. So all your possessions you have decided to take with you, plus all your money.
Yeah, because I think I've heard...
And provisions.
I think I've heard Joe Rogan, because I know he's obsessed with this. I'm sure he's talked about, like, some of these people were so unprepared for what was ahead of them that they had, like, you know, like their expensive furniture and cabinets like, you know, as if you're moving your entire... Oh yeah, we'll get this a few thousand miles, but it's like, why have you brought the piano? Like, it's like, what the fuck? We're gonna have to burn this.
Because it's not like there were roads, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's it. But they were so
There's a trail.
They had no idea what was ahead of them, did they?
I mean, this is the wilderness, isn't it?
And there are so many ways to die
Oh, yeah.
on the trail. Hailstones as big as turkey eggs, wandering off into the long grass at the side of the trail.
One of them on the back of the head.
Rattlesnakes, animals,
mountain lions,
typhus, being struck by lightning. Anyway,
exposure.
Exposure,
dehydration,
starvation, dehydration. You get you cut yourself, you can get infected. There you go, lost your arm.
Yeah, and these people weren't like explorer type. It's like us,
like
now let's pack everything up and go for a walk to Glasgow, like, or I don't know, let's go for a walk to Krakow. Like, it's like, it's just
with our lives in a wagon.
God
I love
bless
it.
him.
I think it's so fucking brave. It's that human spirit.
Is it brave or is it naive?
It's the human spirit.
It is the human spirit, I admit, but it's also, why would they know? They couldn't have known. But what I would have maybe sent like a small party of children.
No, this isn't
or
the only...
something. You go there, come back. Tell us what's going on.
No, this
even if it takes you a year.
This is big business. This isn't just the Donner Party doing this. This is thousands of people a year doing this.
Yeah, and they used to hire people to lead them.
Yeah.
That had done it before.
Right, okay.
Well, sometimes. In this scenario, the Donner Party took some very bad advice and a bit of a charlatan. After a stop in Independence, Missouri to buy provisions and gather the full group, the Donner Party headed west on May the 12th, 1846. Led by two brothers, Jacob and George Donner, and an Irish businessman named James Reed.
Potatoes!
Also, a bit sketchy, James Reed, but a hard bastard nonetheless. Veteran of the Black Hawk Wars against the Indians, fought with Abraham Lincoln in those wars, and certainly had many ambitions for himself when he got to California.
Hell of a good wrestler, Abraham Lincoln.
Apparently so,
Back when wrestling was real, Mike. Which is why
why it became
fake is because it would go on for like fucking like 8 hours. Like, honestly, it would take. God. And then some clever bastard just decided, well, listen, if you just beat him in like, and I'll pay you a bit, and then boom. 200 years later, I am a real man. Say it again, mate.
I didn't know Abe Lincoln was a wrestler.
Oh yeah, and he was actually incredibly good apparently when he was real. Like it was called Catchers.
He was a tall fucker, wasn't he?
Yeah, Catchers Catch Can Wrestling. It was called, and it was like Greco-Roman.
Yeah.
And he was there. What else were they going to do? They didn't have equipment for sports, did they? Like
some might say that Lincoln enjoyed wrestling with fellow men.
Well, all I can say is
there's been those allegations over his personal life. He used to share a bed with his bodyguard, his male bodyguard. I mean, I don't know how true it is, but there's always been allegations cast. But he was married, so read into it what you will.
His finishing move was a neck breaker off the top rope.
Wouldn't it be the Emancipation Elbow?
I think you've got to keep it as the Emancipation Proclamation. He's going for the Emancipation Proclamation.
1, 2, 3. We got a new country. We got a new country.
I'd have watched Trump wrestle Biden for the country.
Oh God, there wouldn't have been he'd have just been toying with him. He'd have him face down on his back, just slapping his stupid retarded head.
Yokozuna thing on him.
And he'd just be sat him going, "Hey, Sleepy Joe. Hey, Sleepy Joe." But Joe couldn't wrestle.
Make it happen.
He couldn't wrestle the wind. Oh God.
Make it happen, Triple H. I want to see it.
Oh, man.
So there's 87 people in this party, men, women and many young children, but they left too late. Pioneers like them were supposed to follow a rigid schedule leaving in mid to late April, the earlier in April the better, in all fairness, to ensure the pack animals had ample grass to eat during the journey before the coldest months arrived. Leaving any later than mid-April meant risking they'd still be travelling when the winter snows came in.
God, American winters.
So they've
especially back then, that kind,
made a boob already.
You're talking giant snow drifts and.
Now, aware of the late start, the pioneers decided they'd take a shortcut, which a guy called Lanford Hastings wrote. He wrote this book called A Pioneer's Guide to Oregon and California, and he says instead of going all the way around the mountains, right, you can just cut through here.
Through the mountains.
Yeah, the Hastings cut-off, we're going to call it. Because
That's brilliant, doesn't it?
He'd looked at a map and gone, well, that looks simple enough. And gone, yeah, you can use
Without
this.
doing it himself.
It'll take No, he did not do it himself. But it will take 450 miles off your journey. Well, that's perfect if you set out late.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
That's like when I program in my first drop on Monday morning and it's wherever I'm fucking going, Bolton, 70 miles. Ooh, well, I could make that 55 miles if I just drive straight across fields in direct, like just ploughing through schools and fucking, just.
As the crow flies.
As the crow flies, basically. That's not. I mean, it might be shorter, mate.
Yeah.
But fuck me.
It might be incredibly dangerous and impassable even.
Well, it virtually fucking is.
Yeah, well,
The thing is, though, he went, though, innit he? So he was confident enough in his own.
Well, there is this pamphlet and it was quite widely produced. But still, there came a point when they're in this massive wagon train and the Donner Party decides, Reed at this point mainly, James Reed decides, yeah, we're going to take the cut-off. Despite the fact Reed's friend, who he'd fought with in the Black Hawk War, is like, are you crazy? You don't know. He's never taken the route in his life. He doesn't know what he's talking about. No, we'll be fine. It'll be fine. And the Donner Party continued west towards their doom. Now, once on the Hastings cut-off, it didn't take the Donner Party long to realise their mistake. Instead of walking the well-trod paths of the California Trail, they had to cross the Wasatch Mountains and hike across the Salt Lake Desert. Now, let's start with the mountains.
I've seen them Salt Lake Deserts where they race the cars.
They go out on them flats, don't they? And
can you imagine walking across that?
You've got to walk across that with oxen, right? So there is no
nothing
grass.
for you to eat, no water.
There's no water, there's no grass, there's no fodder.
Shelter,
for the cattle.
no cover.
There's no shelter. It's incredibly hot in the day and incredibly cold at night.
Yeah.
And because the wagons are so heavy, you can definitely not have people sat in them.
Yeah, because they're sinking into the soft ground.
Sinking into the
Think
salt.
about that white surface, like the sun in the middle of the day, the sun bearing down and it's reflecting back up at you. And
And
God.
you are walking.
50 degrees.
We're walking.
You're walking across it, and your feet are breaking through the thin crust as well.
Yeah.
And you're getting imagine that wind's whipping up, all that salt in your face.
We're looking at a map now.
In your mouth, making you...
You can just see that the cut-off goes straight through that massive desert.
Well, the mountains are going to be bad enough. There's no trails up the mountains. There's no roads. There's no pioneer trails.
No, nothing.
Like the Oregon Trail. You are literally... You're cutting
Creating
trees
trail,
down. You're making a trail.
Yeah, which is
Right.
think
So
of the hard work, the cutting and the
pickaxes to stones. Then you're sending most of the cattle and the oxen over. Then you bring you're got some cattle and you're pushing your wagon over this thing, and then you've got to do it again.
God.
In maybe 100 yards down the road.
Kids and
Kids
women
doing
and everything, and just
It's what a clusterfuck, and all the time you are eating your provisions.
Yeah.
You've got enough to get you to California on the other route, but you're behind now. You've left late.
So it's the green route where they should have gone.
Yeah, the purple and the green is where they should have gone.
And the red's where they take the
Yeah.
shortcut there, you silly fuckers.
Right, and also remember, if you have to cross a flooded river, you've got to make a ferry. There's no bridges. Right? So you've got to cut down trees, lash them all together, make a ferry, have someone doing the old pull-over thing. Mate, these were fucking tough, hardy people.
Oh yeah, God, fuck.
If you put us three in this scenario, we're not making a ferry, are we? We might know how to do it, but we certainly couldn't make it.
Well, I did actually do that in school once with the cadets.
Well done, you're in charge.
But even going back, this is going
30
back
years ago.
200 odd years. I saw a post today I'm in this Shropshire group, for nice pictures of the countryside and stuff.
I'm in that, yeah.
Somebody posted some family pictures from the 70s where they went for a walk up the Cardiff Mill Valley, right? The women, they're just wearing, with no socks, just their normal little tiny black, plimsoll women's shoes, no socks, nothing, little mini skirts. Everyone's smiling and happy up the fucking hill. And I'm like, you go there tomorrow, right? Everyone is head to toe in waterproofs with giant fucking hiking boots and double socks and fucking... This bitch has got no socks and he's still fucking... And she's smiling away, hello. And I'm like, fuck that. And that's the 70s, so she was probably born in the 50s. We're not the same.
No.
We're not. We've just got progressively weaker and weaker due to our circumstances.
Well, I mean, you've got more comfort in life. So yeah, 5-day crossing
Of the salt desert.
of the salt desert.
Fucking hell.
And that's after you've cut your way, cut a trail, made your own road, breaking rocks, cutting down trees, cutting back brush to get your wagons through. And then you've got to walk. They're walking 5 days, no water apart from what they've got. Oh, it's crazy, isn't it?
Yep.
And it stole precious days because it's taking you longer to do this shit. You should be on the safe route, just making nice, steady progress all the way through.
Yeah.
Travelling along. No. So when they arrived at the Sierra Nevada mountains in early November, far too late.
They got stuck in a blizzard.
And we're not talking blizzards, we're talking these guys are stopping for the night, it starts to snow, they wake up and everybody is fucking buried.
Jesus.
This guy, before we get into the blizzard, sorry, just last thing comparing it to modern, but it's like, when you put in a route on the sat-nav, it gives you two options. Fastest route, which is usually the longest route, because it takes the biggest roads and things, but it'll be the quickest, or the shortest route in miles. And if you ever select the shortest route, well, you're fucked. Because shortest route in miles is through
little
towns and street and all the way more fucking. Whereas you could just sit nice and easy at a comfortable, steady pace on the motorway, which does go the long way round, but gets you there. That was their option A, a road that exists. It will take us longer. We're a bit late, but we'll get comfort. We'll get there.
We'll have enough food, and there's because this is an established trail. There's actually places where you can get shit from.
Oh God, like service stations.
Yeah, these businesses, these stores, general stores where you can buy anything from.
Top up, look after the animals, sort the kids out.
You might even get some more cattle.
You could get like a porno mag and some dick pills, an energy drink. That's what they sell in these places. It's very bizarre.
Pelts and musket ammunition, whiskey, food.
Right, not audiobooks and magazines. No. Right. Okay, I'm confusing it with
if I ever go on there used to be a point whenever I went into a service station, I'd always emerge with a copy of FHM and a packet of Rolos. so you just left me to my own devices to wander into this newsagent.
I bought a neck pillow.
I hate that in the
For
airport.
3 times the price it should be sold at.
When I last went on holiday, I went to the duty free at Manchester Airport. It was like a fucking nightclub. It was like dance music blaring. You got all these like neon lights with the various stores and brands. Like, the fuck's this?
Yes. Bye.
I just want a Toblerone.
Yeah, leave me alone. So this blizzard is coming, but it's not just any blizzard, is it, Ben? It's a North American.
Mountain blizzard.
And 18 whatever blizzard.
1846, which apparently was the worst winter on record in that part of the world for a long, long time.
Yeah, well, we can see evidence of what it left behind. Tree stumps that's got to be 6 foot tall.
Well, the snow went up to 20 feet.
20 feet.
Eventually.
20
Fuck
feet.
off.
25 feet. The drifts, because they're in the foot of the mountains, it's drifting. When they build, we'll get to it, but when they set up camp, right, we can't go any further, there's too much snow, there's no food for the oxen, we've got to bunker down, last this out. They had to build cabins, they've got to build shelter, so they're running out of food. Well, the food is so they're going to slaughter the cattle. But that snow's coming down, and you are cutting down trees to build a fucking cabin because you know how to build a fucking cabin out of logs.
That's pretty impressive.
Insane.
But for perspective, like, I measure everything. Whenever you say, like, if it's in multiples of 10 when it comes to feet, because I used to be a basketball player, didn't I?
Yeah.
The basketball ring is 10 feet from the ground.
Right, so
20. So picture in your mind.
2.5.
So picture the school gym. How tall? You can't reach it. 10 foot. That is double that. That's inconceivable.
Again. Half of one again.
It's inconceivable. I can't. There's no way you can't swim up through it. Can you imagine 20 feet
it's insane,
of snow?
Just snow, yeah.
25 feet.
In some places, 25 feet.
Fucking
20
hell.
to 25 feet.
It's a 2-story house.
Yeah.
And unsurprisingly,
3-story house on top of you.
They lost all the horses and cattle.
Oh, it's funny that.
When they built these cabins, they had to dig these massive slopes so they could get out because it was it was over the roofs in some cases. They had to clear the chimney.
Jeez.
Shit.
All I could see was snow everywhere. One Donner Party survivor later wrote, "I shouted at the top of my voice, and suddenly here or there, all about me, heads popped up through the snow." So that's when it first kicks in.
Like a whack-a-mole.
Yeah. The terror. I mean, it was these terrified. It was like, this is overnight, and I'm buried in snow.
You'd be cursing that cunt's name, wouldn't you?
Oh God, yeah, Lansford Hastings.
Mate, read the rest of that quote, man. Like the heads popped up through the snow.
The scene was not unlike what one might imagine at the resurrection when people rise up out of the earth.
It doesn't sound bleak.
The terror amounted to panic. The mules were lost, the cattle strayed away, and our further progress rendered impossible.
Fucking hell. You think you're the only survivor, then people just start going like the Undertaker, sitting up out the snow. Oh, God! Is it the undead? Are you still alive? Are they too cold to talk?
Yeah.
Fuck me, are you dead or not? Oh, God.
You only find out after you've stoved a couple of heads in.
Just to be sure.
To be sure.
Now, at this point, sadly, they had literally just 100 miles to go.
Oh God, they did so well.
Yeah.
But with snowdrifts as tall as 25 feet, I've heard 20 to 25, it was impossible to move forward. So they set up camp at Truckee Lake, which is now Donner Lake.
Oh, fair play.
And they hoped to survive the long, cold winter. Now, provisions are running low. You've got the oxen that you've got left. But they're not going to last you the whole winter because the Indians along the way have been quietly picking off some of them. Although there was like no sort of hostile like no full-on gunfights and arrow fights. I think one settler was killed by an arrow. They captured another, but he was rescued before they tortured him to death. You know, they'd steal the odd horse, they'd steal some cattle, but it mounted up over the time, so they were running on a lot less cattle than they should have had.
Should have been, yeah, at that point.
And because they've mown most of their rations, they killed the first pack animals, and to stretch out the meal, they sucked the bone marrow and tried to make an edible paste from the animal hides.
An edible paste.
Yeah. Now, I
From
also
the
want to
animal
point out,
hides.
if
Mushy animal skin.
Yeah, it is literally.
I love my paste.
It's just a vaguely nutritious paste.
Paste.
Now the families have got cabins. Because they've got a man and sons to build a cabin.
Yeah.
The single guys fared very badly in this because they didn't really, because they were usually employed by one of the families. They couldn't go too far, but they weren't in the family cabin.
Right.
Oh, fucking hell.
No, so they made
shit.
lean-tos against bowls. You're not even in a cabin. You're in a fucking lean-to. You're some wood propped against the rock face with the sides covered over.
Fucking let him in the cabin, you cunts.
Because they're single men and these guys have got daughters and things like that. It wouldn't be proper.
Beyond proper now, though, isn't
Yeah,
it?
it is.
He's sucking out the bone marrow and trying to make edible paste from animal hides.
While they could be fed, by the family, they were, but getting to the point where, sorry, our children need to eat first. And they start eating their buffalo robes, like boiling down their clothes into this paste that's traditionally used to be used as glue.
Oh, God.
You're eating fucking good. At least sniff it first. I'd have been sniffing. Guys, do you want any of this food? No. I'm just getting high until I starve.
They trap mice and eat them. They killed their dogs in the end.
Oh no.
Lacking any more animals to eat, they tuned on pine cones, tree bark, sometimes their own shoes because it's leather. Anything leather, if you boil enough, you can make this paste out of.
Eating your own shoes.
And it's skin, effectively. There's calories in it. There's not many calories, but there's calories.
Now, as is Christmas tradition, I would like to present to you the darkest scenario as dog lovers and animal people you could possibly imagine. You are so hungry, you are so desperate, that you welcome your beloved
Couldn't
dog.
do it.
Nope.
Man's best friend, your beloved soulmate, and you welcome him up onto your lap. And you look deep into his soulful eyes. And you cry, and your tears freeze. And then you have to break them off your face.
Taking skin with it.
And you sit and you think, well, we could keep Freddo. He warns of danger and he might help us catch a mouse. Or we could eat Freddo. He's got big thighs. A little bit there on the breast. It's a little bit of hind meat. Enough to maybe keep my human daughter alive for maybe another day. Oh, Freddo, I remember when you were a pup.
Yeah.
And I'd hold you in my hand. You'd fit right there in my hand. Oh, Freddo.
Snap his neck.
As you look into his eyes.
Yeah.
To
Grim
feed,
dark.
to keep your daughter alive.
Yeah.
Oh, well, If it's a dog with a daughter, that's
Can I just tell you what I would do in that situation, boys? Kill myself and let them all fucking...
I knew it was coming.
Sorry, Fredo. Sorry, whatever your name is. What would you call your daughter back then?
Bethany.
Washingtonina.
You have to have a name after the
Right.
pioneers.
Oh, right.
She can be called Sarah or Jane or whatever you want to call her.
Sorry, but I would have killed myself.
You'd have to stab yourself. You might have
Could you stuff so much snow into your nose and mouth that you'd suffocate?
You've probably got a foot.
What a way to go!
You could just go. I'm going out for a walk. Or maybe some time.
That's it. You do that way. I'm going out for a walk. Or maybe some time of exposure. Yeah.
Well, at least Fredo and Bonnie, whatever her name is, they can play in the cabin, can't they?
Yeah, until Bonnie. If the dog dies somehow, not by my hand or anyone else's hand,
That's different.
I'll eat the dog. But I'm not killing the dog.
But that's why I just wanted to present you the darkest situation. That man, some of them men, had to sit there with their beloved Fredo, look him in his fucking eyes and make that
Probably
decision.
Christmas Eve at this point.
They did spend a Christmas. I think the dogs have been eaten by the Christmas because in the book I read,
Well, we've been saving Fredo for Christmas Day.
We're going to use his thigh bone as a cracker. No, what mad about that? They've already sucked the marrow out of it and turned it into glue paste. Glue. Wasn't there no berries or anything? There was nothing.
You took a 20-foot of snow.
Oh God! I'm eating my leather shoes. I've killed my dog. I'm eating my shoes.
You're becoming weaker because you're still trying to do. You're as a man, as either a single man or a family man. You're doing hard labour.
Still trying to shag my wife twice a day.
Of course you are.
Oh God! This cunt who chose the fucking shortcut, is he still alive?
He's
because I know before I kill Fredo, that cunt. I'm gonna cut his head off. I'm gonna suck the juice out the neck hole before I kill Fredo. Bastard. Is he with them though? Where is he?
No, he's not there.
He went a different way. He just told him, you go that way. Yeah. Oh, he didn't lead them.
No. Even James Reed is not with the party at this point.
Isn't he?
Either, no. He had a bit of an altercation with someone, stabbed him to death. And they were going to hang him. And in the end, they decided we're just going to send you off on a horse with no rations, which is basically a death sentence.
Did he survive or did he die?
Yeah, his daughter snuck him some food.
Right.
And he made it to California, even though he was a bit starving. He made it. He had his guns so he could shoot game.
Right.
I was going to say shoot gays then. I was like, fucking hell. America
shoot gays in California?
Well, in 1846, it's probably quite common.
There's no gays in California.
They existed.
Well, he obviously got back to health. He started saying, look, there's like 87 people trapped in the mountains. You need to help. And they were like, yeah, all right. By the way, you fought in the Black Hawk Wars. James Reed fucks off to go and fight in the American-Mexican War in California. I mean, he does it to sort of raise awareness, but he just fucks off to, well, go on, go to the kids for a while.
Oh, well,
guess I'll go to war.
I'm responsible for the death of 87 people, but...
No, he was gone by the time they took this route.
Okay.
Well, he was on it when it happened, so...
Oh, his kids are in this Donna party.
His kids are in this, yeah. His kids and his wife are in this.
Oh,
and he just fucks off to war.
Fucks off to war. He's like, well, I guess I won't see them for a while.
Oh, that's how bad they were.
There's also some... You could argue that he went to war because he then got connections... Because he's a veteran, you can be an officer in our militia. He starts meeting other people. There's a Navy rescue effort at the end. So he raises money, he raises awareness. Raises $1,000 to be fair. And then when the war's done, or
they're eating their dog, they can't last this long.
He just comes back. And he's on the first rescue mission.
How many years later is this?
Oh, it's however long they were trapped there for. It wasn't a very long war.
Oh, okay, I was going to say.
It was like a matter of like a few weeks kind of thing.
It wasn't the 100 Years' War.
No, it wasn't. They basically start thinking, well, you know what? They got these dead bodies here. That's food. That's meat.
Yeah, preserved in the snow.
They were also exhausted. because they've got no food, that they are literally, not just putting the bodies in the snow. They dug the first few holes, and then they're just leaving the bodies in the snow. Because it's enough energy just to tug them up a 20-foot ramp.
Yeah.
Fuck that.
Oh, God, you got to butcher them.
So they started eating the dead.
Here it is, Merry Christmas, everybody's having fun.
Hey, do you want another human leg? I mean turkey leg.
You ate the organs first.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, so you're looking at
The offal.
heart, liver, kidney. You're having them first because as your body shuts down, it burns your fat and your muscle. The reason it burns the fat and the muscle is to keep your inner organs in the best possible shape they can be. So that's your best meat.
Yeah.
Under the Undifferent Stars Above, it was fantastic. He went into so much detail with meat that could be gleaned off a starved body. He got someone to do the maths, basically, and say, "Oh, this normally this would have yielded 68 pounds of meat, but because they're also starved, it was like 28."
Oh, God.
Really good book, actually. It was, I recommend it, listeners, should you want to read more about this. The Indifferent Stars Above.
The question is, would you do it?
Well, yeah.
You'd have to, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think if somebody else was in charge of the... Right, we're going to cut this guy up. Yeah, you cut him up. You cut it up and cook it me.
Yeah.
I'll have a bite to survive, but I don't want to be involved in the fucking butchery.
You cut the head, the hands and the feet off. Is what they would do. Because that dehumanises the body then. Basically, this is just... It hasn't got a head, hands...
If it hasn't got a face, we can do it.
Yeah, pretty much. It dehumanises the body.
Wow.
And then they would make it... They wouldn't just... They cut the organs and the rest of the meat would be dried into basically like a jerky.
Imagine if they put the same effort that they put into finding food into just killing themselves.
How many people don't want to kill themselves?
There must have been ways. It amazes me that some people have this undeniable human spirit to just keep going to the point where they'll eat their dog and their sister. But I'd have been looking like, if I climb high enough in that tree there, I reckon I could just launch myself out of it and land on my head. Oh, the snow would...
Yeah, you haven't much of a jump either,
You haven't got the energy to climb a tree, man.
Have you got enough to shave a stick that you can fall on?
Yeah, you could do that, yeah.
You know what I mean?
You've probably got a flintlock musket or something like that.
It's not going to be a good death, is it?
Have a razor blade, cut your throat.
Yeah,
you have a razor
you
blade.
go,
You have a razor.
That'd be so much easier than starving to death, wouldn't it?
Well, yes.
Here you go, children. Warm yourself on my blood. This is my final sacrifice for you. Oh, Father, we are warm for the first time in weeks, thank you.
I feel a bit woozy here.
There's still a bit of hope, though, isn't there? Maybe the weather will turn and...
Yeah, it might melt. It might be alright.
Like you say, that is...
California.
a couple of days. And...
It's the unstoppable human spirit, which I guess I just haven't got. Because I'm listening to all this just thinking, before I eat a fella's arse cheek...
And
I'm going to have a good... Surely we've got a rope. Surely we've got a bit of fucking rope round here. Fucking hell. Sorry, kids.
Daddy's going to heaven now.
Feast upon me when I'm gone. Do as thou wilt.
Do as thou wilt.
When I'm off. Fuck this.
So in one account, a young woman named Sarah Murphy Foster had hardly begun mourning her brother Lemuel. How do you say that? Lemuel, we'll go with that. When she realises that other pioneers were eating his heart.
Oh, God.
Christ.
In another, Patrick Breen recorded in his diary that Mrs. Murphy said here yesterday these short she would commence on Milt and eat him. I don't know that she's done that yet, but it is distressing.
Yeah.
Mrs. Murphy?
Sweet old Mrs. Murphy. I'm going to eat that fucker's heart. He's only been dead half an hour. I don't give a fuck, I'm fucking starving.
You're a God-fearing woman, Mrs. Murphy.
I fucking used to be. I wonder, because these would have been deeply Christian people as well. I wonder how it sat with them.
Yeah. Well,
They would have must have been like, God wants me to survive.
Well, I think it just boils down. I don't think you're thinking too much about God at this point. You're thinking about, where am I getting enough food for tomorrow to feed my family?
This would lead into my eventual suicide, because I'd just be thinking, well, God has obviously forsaken me. I am meaningless to God. Look what he's done. 25-foot snowdrift. You're taking the piss.
And then I wasted all that time in church praying for...
Yeah.
For the most part, Donner Party members were determined to only eat people who'd already died. But there were two tragic exemptions.
This is where it gets fucked up even more, do you know what I mean? It's like, okay, they're dead.
Yeah. That's one thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
You've been eating ox gut.
Yeah.
You know, ox skin.
You've been eating leather shoe goo.
Belts. Anything you can
You've been eating
It's
belts.
now time to go, you know what? We've got these... I read in the book that one of these guys, when they were sat around a fire, and they didn't realise this guy had just died until his hand fell in the fire, and he didn't take it out.
Right. That's how
And of
bad
course,
they
the
were.
smell of cooking
So
meat.
like 3 seconds later, 3 seconds later, his hand was off, and they were like, "Oh, thank you, Harry."
Yeah. But that's one thing.
Yeah.
To actually kill
Kill them
people
on purpose.
Yeah.
to then eat them. That's even darker, man.
I wonder how they decided who they're gonna fucking.
Well, I'll give you a guess.
Come on then.
The group of the stronger members on December 16th decided they'd try and get help. Their party, later named the Forlorn Hope, which is not what you want to call a party, is it?
Well.
They fashioned snowshoes. So they realised this snow is just ridiculous. You step into it, you go to your waist. Yeah. So they've got to try and make it out to the snow. So they make snowshoes out of bits of wood, ox intestine as a binder, like catgut for the old tennis rackets.
Yeah.
And they're in a group of 15 of them, go across the snow, they cross the mountains, they're starving, they've got what meagre supplies are left, and they've taken what they can. They reckon it's going to take 6 days, it takes them like fucking 3 weeks. Because there's no as the crow flies route. But they have got these two Native Americans.
No cunt's ever gone this way before.
Yeah. They have got two guys who kind of know the ground, two Native Americans.
Okay.
Called Salvador and Lewis.
I see what's coming.
And they're from the Miwok tribe, who aren't actually big meat eaters. They're berries and acorns, and they make it into like a mush, and that's what their diet is. Usually very little meat in their diet. So these guys aren't doing too bad. And they're sort of trekking away. And I just want to point out the conditions of this. You've still got the snow. It's fucking cold. The wind's biting through. You're going still. You've got snowshoes on, but you're still sinking. You've got to pull your foot out every time.
God,
you're already. You're the strongest of the people there. You're already half starved. You've got enough rations to last you 6 days. You've got the sun blaring down in the day onto this pristine ocean of white snow. What happens? You're snowblind. Now,
That's a great song by Sabbath.
You can recover from snow blindness. It's a fairly quick thing. But if you're getting it every day, it's going to quite badly damage your eyesight. And one of the chaps on this because he was only 5'4", suffered more from the snow blindness because he's close to the ground.
Right.
He ended up just going blind, and that was...
Fuck, man.
It will take you aside. It's horrible. These guys are doing this in horrible conditions, but their families are back at this camp. And you need to get through. You've got to get through. Because if you don't, they're all dead. So they come down to eat in their shoes. They're going down mountainsides, they're climbing up hills, they're coming through brush, their feet are cut and bleeding. And then they come across Lewis and Salvatore who've done... There's a bit of a backstory to this where basically one of the guys was quite keen on eating people. For this Irish guy was like, we should kill someone and eat them. And they're like, okay, we'll draw straws.
Oh, God.
His was the shortest straw, and all of a sudden he changed his tune completely. And they decided, no, we won't do that. And they're like, what about those guys? What about those Native Americans who we consider savages anyway?
They're not like us.
I know they're our guides, but come on. better we kill a savage than a Christian. Gaz just crossed himself. Espiritu Santo, whatever. And so Sourdough and Lewis do a runner.
Just one of the men warns them.
Yeah, one of the men does kind of go, you need to get out of here. And therefore also looking at these starving white folk and thinking, we're all sitting round or huddled together, glances over around and then back to whispering.
Licking their lips.
Licking their lips.
With their knife and fork together. You've got a little napkin round the neck and a little plate dribbling.
Yes. They do a runner, but they come across them basically.
They don't come across them. They follow them.
No, they do a runner. They do a runner.
Yeah, and the pioneers follow them.
They do follow the trout for a bit, but they're lying there, collapsing in exhaustion, and then later they then shoot them in the heads with their muskets and butcher their bodies for meat.
So they hunted them down and killed them and ate them.
Yeah.
Not they came across them.
There's two tales to that.
Oh,
one is that they hunted them down.
Right.
The other is that they were tracing... Well, because these guys do the land, they were kind of tracing their steps, which would have been clear in the snow. You're not going to just not follow their tracks, are you? They know the land.
Yeah.
So I guess, but then they come across them.
Okay.
So I think to say they hunted them down is probably a bit much. They do manage to kill a deer as well. Shoot a deer and get the meat from that. But as they start dying, they start harvesting the meat off the dead people. One of the wives who've gone along with her husband, they got on this mission, they were young, they were strong. Their husband passed away from hypothermia, and the first thing someone asked was like, can we eat him? And she's like, well, I guess you can't hurt him anymore. And they roasted his heart over an open fire in front of it.
Makes you change some chestnuts, I suppose.
My husband's heart roasting on an open fire.
They then actually make it to an Indian village with their backpacks full of Indian people. I don't think the Indians ever checked in the packs because they did feed them like an acorn, plant mush. They were kind of veggies, I'd explained earlier, kind of a veggie tribe, and they've got two of their allies.
They got the
one of their allied tribes in the backpacks.
Jesus.
Bits of them dried out. A bit dried meat, wouldn't it? They'd dry it out.
God.
And then they carry on, but they're led through, but they are exhausted, their clothes are torn, they're pretty much naked at this point. Their clothes are so ragged. Yeah. They've got no shoes, their feet are cut and bleeding, they're starving. They're walking skeletons, flesh-coloured skeletons at this point. And eventually they all drop out, apart from one guy, William Eddy, who makes it to this ranch, like a fort as such, a supply kind of place. We call it a ranch, we call it a fort. It's a business as well. And he's like, look, there's 86 people up in the hills. You got to get them out, they're going to starve. He just walked here, and then he collapses.
It's taken a month, by the way, to get there.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
You know, he collapses and he just passes out, and they follow his bloody footprints back. He leaves them a map of bloody footprints to where the other surviving members of the Forlorn Hope are. They get brought in.
Which is only half the fucking... Well, it's the strong people.
There's 15 of them. I think it was 6 made it.
Fuck.
The rest are eaten for meat. The 2 Indian guys...
6 of them made it in the end. Were any of them children doing it?
No, these were all like young adults or like the strongest guys.
None of the kids survived.
Not yet. Now they're going to send relief teams now.
Oh, to the rest of them?
Yeah. The Forlorn Hopes took him a month. He's made it to the ranch.
Yeah.
He's managed to get help to go and look for the other survivors.
Fuck yeah.
The first relief sets out. Takes them 2 months. Well, it took 2 months for 4 relief teams to rescue survivors of the Donner Party. Each relief team brought back harrowing stories about what the Donner Party had done during their desperate final chapter.
And like you said, the society at the time, very Christian.
Yeah.
You know,
got to do the right thing.
This sort of thing is very much frowned upon, I imagine.
Yeah.
It is frowned upon, but I'm guessing because they'd only eaten...
They give a pass.
Because it's the circumstances and the the fact that he hadn't killed anybody at this point, potentially. There's actually there could be another murder later on at the camp. Because they've eaten the dead, they kind of get a bit of a pass. Apart from the Indian guys. So one man described seeing as a revolting and appalling spectacle at Truckee Lake that included human skeletons in every variety of mutilation.
Imagine finding that. Oh my god, it's like pristine wilderness and you come to the fucking...
You've got this...
It's just blood stains.
You've got this kind of chimney smoke coming out the snow.
Yeah. And all these mutilated skeletons.
And they shout hello in the first street. Hello, is anybody alive? And they just get this sort of frail woman coming up.
Mrs. Murphy?
Possibly Mrs. Murphy. Crawling up out of this 20-foot slope. They've had to keep digging this fucking slope so they're going to get snowed in. No matter who the fuck they are, they've got to have a clear path out of the shelter. And she says, are you men from California or men from heaven?
Oh, gosh. Is that fireworks?
It is. There's always some dickhead.
Yeah. Wow. Fuck me. Are you angels or just blokes?
Yeah. It must have seemed like they were angels. Just some blokes. Yeah. As well. Another account claims to have seen children sitting up on a log with their faces stained with blood, devouring the half-roasted liver and the heart of the father. This account went on to describe hair, bones, skulls and the fragments of half-consumed limbs around the fire.
Well,
George Donner is dead at this point. His brother Jacob is dead at this point.
Throwing over a skull on the Barbie.
One rescue party insisted they'd seen a survivor, John Baptiste Trudeau, holding a human leg when they arrived at Truckee Lake. Trudeau allegedly confessed to eating both Jacob Donner and his 4-year-old son.
what?
They were the brothers that led the party, weren't they?
Yeah, Jacob Donner and his brother, George Donner. Jacob died quite early because he was considered a bit sickly, generally. And his 4-year-old son, Trudeau told him, I eat baby raw, stewed, some of Jake, roasted his head, not good meat, tastes like sheep with the rot, but sir, very hungry, eat anything. No story from the Donner Party is as disturbing as that of Louis Kesselberg, the last person rescued from Truckee Lake in April 1847.
The full 11 months or so.
Yeah. Enough. He was reportedly discovered half mad and surrounded by half-eaten bodies. There is a possibility he killed a child and then ate him on... So the reliefs have left them food, but there's like flour and stuff like that so they can make bread at least. But it's only as much as you can carry, and you need to feed people on the way back as well. So you've left like food caches along the route for your rations. But if the animals get into it, you've got no food.
You're fucked.
People still died on the way out. There's a great quote, one of the reliefs where I want to say it's a great quote. It's a horrifying quote, to be fair. He's like, the young girl passed away on hypothermia, starvation, couldn't make it out, just too weak to make it out. And they buried her, and the next relief coming up found the grave had been disturbed by wolves and her flesh eaten its bones. And he said her soul had gone to heaven, but her body had gone to the wolves.
Oh, Lord.
Happy Christmas!
Yay!
We got a bit more on this crazy.
Yes, rescuers of the final relief claim to have found him with a cauldron of human flesh and a bit of a brain on the side, apparently.
Well, that's why he got off mad, then, isn't it? If he's eating the brains.
Allegedly, they offered him food, but he demurred and said he'd come to prefer eating people.
Oh, Jesus.
Wow.
Remember, as they're sort of like choosing people to go on the relief, some of the mothers have got to send the children who can still potentially make it out, and kind of keep some back because they're not strong enough yet. But now they've got the food. By the time the next relief comes, they might be actually strong enough to walk out of there.
Got you.
One guy, there was a chap called John Stark on the rescue missions. He'd actually been a member of the Donner Party, but he'd gone the proper route When he found out these were people he knew, he went. He carried 4 children out on his own.
Oh, fair play.
By literally taking one, walking so many paces, setting them down, going back for the other, picking them up, walking over, setting them down, doing that with all 4, all the way there.
So he's walked 4 times as far.
Yeah.
Or 8 times because he's gone back.
Fuck.
He was like a genuine hero of this. He was, that's fucking impressive.
Yeah, that is majorly impressive.
So, those such accounts remain infamous even after nearly 2 centuries. Actual stories of the Diner Party's members eating each other are harder to come by. The survivors gave contradicting stories and often retracted what they previously said. Again, because, you know, you don't want to be... and I was thinking, you are dealing with some major PTSD.
Oh, fuck yeah. Jesus. Again, I just can't believe it. None of them, they didn't all just throw themselves under trains or just... just I don't understand how you could keep on living, just kill yourself.
However, it is kind of sort of said that, you know, as many as 21 people were eaten over the course of this.
Jesus, out of 87.
And I think 40-something made it out, and 40 made it out alive.
Really?
Yeah.
That's quite that.
Yeah.
But they ate half the dead. And it is a total last resort. And like this author says here, you know, if you're a mother watching your children starve and freeze to death, what are you supposed to do?
That's it, isn't it?
It is a
survival, isn't it?
Survival.
Humanity goes out the window at that point, doesn't it? Because it's just, you're an animal trying to survive, basically. Humanity just disappears.
That's all we are.
Yeah.
But it's not so.
But
it's not like you're killing them, is it?
No.
Well,
so if you're just eating someone who's died of natural causes, that's one thing.
But to take their lives to eat them,
kill them to eat them is the ultimate taboo, isn't it?
Well, it's like, remember that movie Alive? That's based on a true story.
We'll
isn't
do that for an episode one day. It's a fascinating story.
And that was quite recent. Well, compared to this, it was
late 70s, 80s.
Yeah, and they same thing. Ended up eating their mates, didn't they?
Yeah. Well, they really had no choice in that. But they were athletes, so they'd have yielded more meat.
No, there you go.
There was some prime cuts on those guys. These are starved. These are people who are already half starved.
There's some ribeye steak on that athlete's ass.
There's one of them dudes who used to have this tradition. He'd go out every morning, come out of the plane, and he'd be like screaming, "I am Jose Antonio Rodriguez, and I will not die here."
Did he die there?
Yeah.
Ah, shit.
But still, it's pretty badass.
I am Antonio Matoyas. You killed my father. Prepare to die. I bet you've never seen that.
I have, actually.
Oh!
I made him watch it, and he liked it, actually.
It's a quality film.
It's fantastic.
It's amazing.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
Andre
was fantastic.
He's amazing in that film.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. And it was like, you know what, this is great. And it's got the bloke from Men in Tights in it.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Surprised he never became a bigger star. I can't even think of his
Carey
name.
Elwes, his name
That's
is.
it, yeah.
Yeah.
God, he's brilliant in that.
Yeah, isn't he?
Kill my father, not prepared to die. I love that film, mate.
Yeah,
I absolutely
brilliant.
love that film.
Yeah, man. I rewatched a Christmas film the other day.
Okay. Which one?
Fat Man.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I've seen that. Mel Gibson.
Yeah.
That's not quite a Christmas film, but, you
It's
know.
got Santa in it.
It's not in the...
Anti-Christmas film, innit?
Yeah, it's not in the vein that we're
it's a
trying to get
seasonal
you
film.
to... Okay, we'll go with that.
You know?
It's like the Fairy Tale of New York. It's got Christmas in it, but it's not necessarily a Christmas thing.
Yeah, but it's still got Santa in it. It's only because my stepdad had it on and I was there.
Yeah,
I wouldn't have gone my way to watch it.
Well, I want to watch... Apparently, though, it's been absolutely ripped to shit, but The Rock's done a new film called Red One that apparently everyone says is awful, box office bomb. But I love the premise. He's like part of the security team that looks after Santa, and somebody kidnaps Santa. I'm in. I love shit like that. Like, I'm in. Let's treat Santa like he's real, because if he was real, he'd be a super-powered being.
Oh yeah, he'd be a demon.
Very, very important. No. But yeah, fuck me. These poor bastards. But 40 people is more than I thought survived. So that's a lot of eyewitness testimony, isn't it? People definitely got fucking eaten, didn't they?
Oh God, there's no way they survived if they hadn't. And the remains were found by the guys coming in. It's horrifying, isn't it, to be in?
Of course it is.
What are you gonna go with? Are you gonna stay in a camp? Are you gonna try and get out? Are you gonna go with a full on?
Depends how I am. If I've got the energy.
I think my mentality is I would probably just keep marching until I dropped. I wouldn't be able to just sit there and wait.
Yeah.
I think my psychology, I'd be like, even though it would be a mistake, I'd be like, right, I'm going to get there. And I'd go marching and just...
I'd prefer that.
Fucking die.
Because at least, if you're going to get out, you're getting out, aren't you?
Yeah, I don't think I'd be able to just sit there for months and then hope...
And then you got to hope, you got to wait on other people.
I hope we're getting rescued.
Yeah.
Succeed or die trying.
I'd rather go out and die, I think.
But then, if you're fucking starving to death and you think, fuck, I've got to walk another month.
Well, it might only last a couple of weeks.
They were like, hey, it's going to be 6 days.
6
days. We get out of there in 6 days, you'll be like, you know what, I can do it, come on. And you are getting rations to take with you. Yeah. It's not a lot, but it's more, the problem is it's less the amount of calories you're expending.
That's
it. Less is your issue, it's calorie expenditure. Yeah. You're burning thousands of calories walking in these snowshoes.
Pulling the feet, you know what it's like walking that. Yeah. And we only get snow up to our fucking ankles if that's when it's bad. Yeah. So 25 feet, even if it's up to your knees, whatever, just every single up
progress
down
would be fucking painful.
And you're going up massive fucking mountains.
It's not a path either, is it?
You're finding a path. Oh, you're just climbing up.
Trying to make
a mountain.
Through trees, through all that. Yeah. Oh, God.
We're all going for the forlorn hope option then.
Oh, yes.
As daft as it sounds. And I don't like things that are called forlorn hope.
Forlorn hope. That'd be a good name for a boat that you wanted to sink, wouldn't it?
Alright, I think that's the Christmas episode.
Well,
unless anyone's got anything to add.
We had a better Christmas than them.
Certainly did. Unless the aliens turn up.
I'd just like to leave you all with the image of the young girl found sat on a bench eating her father's roasted heart.
Or having to kill your dog.
I just think, no matter how bad your Christmas is, you're not eating hearts of loved ones.
There's that. Or a grey paste made of your own coat.
Of shoes. I'm using my shoe paste. Oh, survive. I must survive. Fucking pussies. Should have killed themselves instantly.
You said you'd walk out.
To die.
I thought you were going on the forlorn
If I was stuck in there in that camp, there was no option of walking off into the wilderness. I'm telling you, instead of sitting there eyeing up people's fucking rumps, steaks and that, I would be eyeing up sharp things, heavy things, tall things, anything that could crush me, kill me, destroy me. Because that's my survivor's spirit.
Well, you know Bear Grylls, are you?
No, I am not.
Let's get Raimi as some Bear Grylls and stick him in his exact same situation and see how long they last.
I will murder one of them and use their skin to fashion a noose.
You know, to be fair, I didn't forget to mention, but there are some... I mean, we've scratched the surface of this.
Yeah, it's a mega story.
Yeah, the book I read was like 2.5 inches fucking thick.
Yeah.
You know, but one of them managed to kill a grizzly bear.
Fuck me.
You know, he brought in 800 pounds of meat.
Wow.
You know,
how did he kill the bear?
He basically got the bears were doing the whole standoff thing.
Yeah.
He holds his nerve until the bear's near enough on him, and then shoots the bear in the head.
Fuck.
And tries to and gets out the way of it falling, but he had to be sure to make the shot. He's only got a musket.
He's got one shot. Fuck me. Fair play, the guy wanted food.
Yeah.
The bare necessities.
Hey! He fucking is on fire the last couple of episodes.
Bare necessities, your Mother Nature's recipes. Leather fucking belts and shoes is not Mother Nature's recipes, dickhead. Stop singing. It's the bare necessities. I'm not eating belts.
You think they'd have used everything on that bear, wouldn't they?
Oh, God.
Everything.
Yeah. Here you go, Gaz. Here's a nice fur burger. Any meat on it? No, it's just the fur.
No, you'd have used that for any insulation, wouldn't you, in the house.
Stuffed it down my pants.
You'd have been stuffing the walls with that.
Then again, how long does a bear last 80 odd people?
Very true.
Well, it's only £10 each if they.
Yeah,
it is. Yeah.
You know.
Nothing, is it?
It's not much, is it? I don't know though. £quarter of burgers. It's not just one day though, is it? No, it's months. Nah. Well,
they got rescued in April, so yeah, it's at least 6 months, isn't it?
Yeah.
God bless them. Half of them made it out. I don't know what they're fucking moaning about.
I mean, you can go like 3 weeks without food, can't you?
Shitting hell.
Hunger pains do stop. Actually, when you get
You start eating yourself.
yeah, basically the glucose in your brain goes, oh, you know what? Your glucose. That's what hunger pains are. It's glucose dropping. Dropping. When eventually the brain sorts it out by starting to eat the body, and so when you eat, it just resets everything, so the hunger pains come back. But at the same time, you've got to you still got to clear the path out of the cabin. You've got to attend to the children who if you're in the camp.
Oh God.
You're left with, and each family's got at least 2 or 3 because it's back in pioneer days. All they did was fuck.
Right, next child to cry gets eaten. Well, God bless the dinner party, and God bless us all, everyone.
Merry Christmas,
Merry
everyone.
Christmas.
Indeed.
No, I did ask my mum why I never watched any Christmas films as a kid.
Okay, what's she say?
Your dad was a fucking Scrooge.
Well, okay, bless you. That does explain a bit.
So, on that note, happy Christmas. I've been Ben. Thanks for listening. Tell a friend, tell several friends. Enjoy your time, however you choose to spend it, as is your will.
Hope you're not eating people.
Well, it shouldn't come to that in a Western Christmas, to be fair, should it? I mean, I know things are tough, but we're not eating our families yet.
Brexit Britain, mate. Hold on to your hat.
We'll root through the skip.
I'd happily eat a few immigrants. It's a joke. I was just trying to do the most gammon Brexit joke I could.
Is it because you're going to say there's no shortage of them?
No, but you've just...
Well, I was just feeding you the line, mate.
Thank
you the line.
Thank you. I'm out there waiting on the beach with my knife and fork. Welcome to England. Step onto the fire, please. I can't afford to eat anymore.
My God, you don't think that's why they're not stopping the issue, do you?
Well, what it really is in Findus crispy chicken, you know what I mean? We don't know it's chicken, do we?
Probably horse.
It could be a Syrian.
We know that.
It was for a while, yes. But it could also...
They could potentially pass it off as pork, couldn't they?
I'm just saying it could potentially also be a Syrian. But,
could be.
You know.
Used to know.
Merry Christmas,
Merry
everyone.
Christmas. I've been Mike. Thanks for listening. Peace out. May the force be with you.
I've been Gaz, Free Biff Tannen and Santa. Merry Christmas!
Free Santa.
Well, it's usually Free Biff Tannen, isn't it? But it's Christmas.
Yeah.
Santa's a slave at Christmas.
Yeah, free him!